Welcome to week 14 of the Integrative Wellness Collective. I'm so excited to be here, and thank you so much for jumping off and jumping back on with us. Hopefully we'll get a better connection. I hope so, because tonight's going to be really interesting when I speak to Michelle about all the things that she's been doing in her acupuncture practice for the last 17, 18 years. Yay!
Yay!
The computer gods allowed us tonight. It's literally like a crapshoot every week. I don't even know what's happening in the world of Instagram and digital media. So you caught me. I'm like sitting here going, okay, I have to look. I got to get all of my swelling out. I had a long day in the office today. All right, so let's start because I have so much to talk to you about, and I'm just so excited. And I know a bunch of people are on here because especially us ladies that kind of want to know what's going on and how to make ourselves a little bit defying the aging process, if you will. So let me tell everyone about Michelle, my colleague. Michelle has been on faculty, right, at Maryland University of Integrative Health since 2004. She is one of the very few acupuncturists in the country that have certified classes on a national level to teach other acupuncturists about facial rejuvenation. Not only does she utilize cupping and Gua Sha and she treats neurological issues with face, TMJ, trigeminal neuralgia. She's an all-around badass when it comes to anything that's related to the face and neurological issues, as well as making you look beautiful and amazing and slowing the progression of aging, which we all want. But I'm so excited because I just have a bazillion questions for you, even though I do practice facial rejuvenation. To like really hear it from the master is just, it's a blessing today. So welcome. Thank you so much for joining. It's actually week 14, and I'm just excited. So I'm going to start right away, and I want to ask you, because all of us that went to acupuncture school, or any of us that kind of joined this profession, we all come by way of some sort of hero's journey in a way, I guess. So what brought you to, when you graduated from acupuncture school, what brought your career towards more of this facial rejuvenation? How did that start for you so long ago?
So first I want to thank you for having me. I was surprised to hear from you and honored to be on your show. I actually got involved in facial acupuncture, not in the usual way. My youngest child was born with a neurological genetic condition called nystagmus. He's an albino and his eyes move. And so back when he was teeny tiny, I had read in the British Journal of Ophthalmology that acupuncture could help with neuromuscular conditions, especially with the eyes. And so I took him to see an acupuncturist who did scalp acupuncture on him. And so that began my journey to becoming an acupuncturist. But at the same time, always in the back of my mind was how closely our brain is connected to our face and to our senses, and just to a greater part, like who we are. So I really focused a lot on the neurological stuff, the drooping eyelid that might happen if you had Bell's palsy, or even if you just had ptosis because of some sort of an injury or a genetic condition, stroke, myasthenia gravis, trigeminal neuralgia, all these different things that affect the face. And part of all of this is tied into our appearance, right? So if you have a stroke, especially now with COVID, young people are having strokes. They're having blood clots and strokes. So not that COVID was around back then, but when you're young and your face becomes paralyzed, or you lose part of your function, it affects your appearance. And so I started to really focus on kind of the physical and the emotional, the neuromuscular, all the components of the face and how it affects our psyche and our health, our relationships, our relationship with ourselves, our relationship with others. If you can't make an expression, a lot of times you can't even feel the emotion. So I started studying, when I was still a student, I started studying cosmetic acupuncture and scalp acupuncture. And then right out of the gate, once I started treating patients, that was one of the things that I really focused on, was not just, you know, the lines and the wrinkles and the sagginess, but other things. Like if you think about Chinese face reading, like what a particular marking on our face might indicate, habitual expression. I wrote a journal article on the anatomy of expression, and it's a class that I teach. In fact, I'm teaching one this week and online about our expressions and how they can create different lines on our face, but also how making certain habitual expressions affect us internally.
And I'm sure some of that also has to do with transgenerational traumas too, right? I mean, what's passed on from what you learned from your parents, your grandparents, the expression that you then kind of hold into your face and body.
Absolutely.
So, you know, it's funny because before I do these conversations, obviously I do a lot of like research the week before, and I just literally typed in Google search and I said, you know, cosmetic acupuncture. And one of the first queries that come up is, does cosmetic acupuncture really work? And I love that question because even the naysayers that don't believe acupuncture works, that's the first question that when people meet me and find out that I'm an acupuncturist, they say, does that really work? And I'm like, well, I wouldn't be in practice for 17 years if it didn't work. So something is working. So I wanted you to talk to me. We're going to talk a little bit later about the whole neurological system, but I know, you know, listen, the beauty industry is like $1 billion and plus industry, right? So everyone wants to take care of themselves. And so how do you find, like, how does cosmetic acupuncture work? And I don't want you to tell me as a colleague, but I want you to tell the people that are on today that maybe don't have any experience with acupuncture. How does cosmetic acupuncture work? And, you know, how is facial rejuvenation performed? What would they come to you and experience?
Well, I'll tackle the first part of that first. And so it works in a lot of different ways. When I do cosmetic acupuncture, I use some needles in the face. Forget about all the things that you see on Instagram, please, because a lot of the stuff that you see are from untrained, some of them are acupuncturists, but they're not trained in cosmetic acupuncture. Some of them have no license at all. Some of them have other licenses, and they get a box of needles and they start sticking the needles in their face and they put on this horror show. So just take that image if you've seen it and put it aside. When I practice, I put maybe 10 needles in the face, and a few of these teeny tiny needles will go right into the wrinkles themselves. And there's a lot of body points that are done. And so the way that it works is it brings a lot of energy up to the face, right? Because you're stimulating individual acupuncture points. And also it brings a lot of circulation up to the face. And by doing the body points, we are treating acupuncture points on the body that correspond to different organs. For example, I might do a point that treats your spleen and the spleen is responsible for holding things up. Or I might treat a point on your liver, and if your liver is taxed or not functioning well, you can get dark spots. You know, they call them liver spots. You can get spots. You can get redness. Your nose can get red. If your lungs aren't working right, of course, your lungs rule your skin, right? They call your skin the third lung. So I might do some points for your lungs. And all of this comes together, like each point in the face is going to affect an area of your face. And then the tiny little intradermal needles that I would put into a wrinkle help to stimulate collagen in that area. Then and it's very relaxing. My patients all fall asleep once the needles are in. The needles are really tiny, believe it or not. I have my cups and my Gua Sha tools, but I didn't bring a box of needles. But they're
Are you using intradermals? Or are you putting them in with a
tweezer?
A tweezer?
Yeah, they're just tiny. And I only use like 5 to 10. I don't do that millions of intradermal. It's not necessary. And then my patient typically falls asleep, the needles come out, and then I do facial cupping and facial Gua Sha, and this really helps to release some of the fascia, so the skin on our face is the only skin on our body that's connected to our muscles. That's why we can move our faces, but like if you put your arm out, you can't move your skin on your arm no matter how hard you try. But you can move your forehead without moving any bones. You can still, move your lips, move your forehead. So you can get a lot of fascial adhesions, and these can cause some of the deep nasolabial folds, the deep marks between your eyebrows, on your forehead, a lot of the like the jowling, and the cupping is great because it like sets the stage for the Gua Sha, gets the blood flowing. I stimulate different acupuncture points with the cups. They don't leave marks. It's not like that Michael Phelps experience with the big red
That's
marks.
Right. You'll have hickeys all over your face.
Yeah,
right?
no. And the Gua Sha, if done properly, is a wonderful way to release the fascia. It helps to sculpt the face, and all of it ties together to really help to refresh and rejuvenate the face. And if anyone asks me if it works, I just tell them that I'm 60, and then they go, oh. So
yes, and I'm almost 50, and I do my face too. Yeah.
Wow, I would have never guessed. Yeah. So
yes.
And I'm being a little sarcastic. You guys don't know me, but my students, I'm like part comedian, part acupuncturist. I think I missed my calling in life. But one of the greatest testimonies, I think, to the work, and again, I just packed up my house in Maryland. I packed up 8 banker boxes of patient files. That's a lot of faces. Sure. And sure. But one of the greatest things that I hear from my patients who've been seeing me for years, I had patients that have been seeing me for 15 years, and they say, I went to my high school reunion or family reunion, and I don't look any different now than I did the last time they saw me 10 years ago.
That's pretty great.
So
how many visits do you typically see a patient for something like cosmetic acupuncture versus, more of like a neurological issue? How often, like how soon do you see results, or how, what's the lasting effect of these treatments for you? Is it compounding? Does it compound on itself?
So It is so dependent on the patient. If someone comes to me and they are living down here in Florida and they have a lot of sun damage and they're older and they don't drink water, maybe they smoke, you know, that person is going to need to come more often, once or twice a week for quite a while, like quite a while. Not before they see results. The results they should notice after about 6 treatments, but it's going to take much longer for that person than someone who's younger and has more what we call in Chinese medicine yin. They're more juicy. They're not as dry. Maybe someone who practices yoga, drinks water, eats good food, doesn't smoke, gets rest. You know, it's holistic medicine. So it works with your body. I'm not putting something in or taking something out. And so the nice thing is, once someone comes, let's say they come once a week for about 3 months. Let's say your average 50-year-old who
the menopausal woman, let's say, losing her
if
estrogen,
there's such a thing
right?
as an average. I know none of us are average. We're all very special, but you know, they've got some signs of aging and they take good care of themselves. Usually I'll say to them, come once a week for about 3 months, and we usually evaluate at about week 6 or 8. And, you know, what are you noticing? You know, and then after that, typically most people can start coming less often, every other week, once a month.
More like maintenance.
It's like getting your nails done or dyeing your hair or whatever. It's not like it's not like, okay, I'm done, I never have to go back again.
Right.
But so yeah, the treatments do build on themselves, and eventually, like when I'm really busy, I like to treat myself once a week, but when I get really busy, it's like once a month. But I can see it. I and especially now that we're all, you know, doing this, and you're a lot brighter than me. I don't know. I've got a ring light, but I don't have the right connection for my phone, only for my computer.
So do you find that nutrition plays a big role as well in obviously, I mean, I know, but do you notice a difference in whether or not they see results quicker, or do you give them certain things to say, hey, you know, maybe you might want to eat more foods that are hydrating, or foods that are stringent that might, you know, keep their liver from being irritated, or, you know, how do you give them information like that?
I do. I actually, you know, I do a full intake with my patients, so I understand what's going on with them. You know, of course, it's, you know, I feel their pulses, I look at their tongue, and then I will give them individualized advice based on what I'm finding. But certainly, you know, fresh fruits and vegetables. There was a period of time where people who were doing certain types of diets, I'm not going to bash anyone's eating habits, let's just say certain types of diets, where they weren't eating any carbohydrates and fruits and vegetables, and they all came in looking like old veal chops. They just had no.
They're like,
So they were nice and thin, but you need vitamin C and collagen, vitamin C and protein to make collagen. And we lose 1% of our collagen every year.
Wow.
So that's why I was saying, you know, people who are younger are going to see, if you start going for cosmetic acupuncture when you're young, you are going to look fabulous when you get old. it's like going to the gym.
Right.
It's like just.
So let me ask you a question, because a few weeks ago I had gotten a question about collagen. So, you know, I mean, now collagen is like this new, you know, multi-billion-dollar market when everyone's chugging collagen. Do you find that do people come to you and are they taking it? Do you suggest it? Do you not suggest it? Do you feel like you can get it elsewhere? Like, what's your take on that? And I'm sure there's probably a lot of people on here that are taking collagen.
Mhm.
They're taking it for their, you know, their nails, their skin, their, you know, all that. So what's your take on that? And do you see a difference?
Well, I jumped on the collagen bandwagon, I don't know, 10 years ago maybe. And I did a lot of research and it was so mixed.
Mhm.
Um,
I found nothing. It didn't do anything for me. So
and
I
it did
stopped using it.
absolutely nothing. I felt like I was spending all this money and my hair wasn't getting any thicker. My skin wasn't looking any better. And I used it for a solid year.
Mhm.
I even took it with me when I traveled and taught. I had these little collagen chewy things, and it wasn't that I had the wrong kind of collagen.
Right, I'm sure.
I'm a nut. I did all the research, and I tried a couple of different ones. Like I said, your body makes its own collagen, but you need to have adequate protein,
Mhm.
and you need to have vitamin C, and you need to have enough water too in your body so you can have the hyaluronic acid. So
And that, you know, and then you see, you know, all these beauty products with all of these things in it. So it's like, real, okay, so you're spending all this money to plaster it all over your face, but it's not necessarily going to work because it's this topical that really needs to come from the inside. As a holistic practitioner, I mean, we know it all starts from the inside. It's not going to be what you put on the outside.
well, and you know, some of the molecules that are in some of the products, I mean, it's putting vitamin C serum on your face or vitamin E or whatever. It depends on exactly which thing you're talking about, but hyaluronic acid and collagen are big molecules.
Mm-hmm.
So the only way, your skin is a barrier, right? And the only way anything can get in and do something is it's got to get either through your pores or actually through your skin. And so that's how I got involved with the derma rollers, because if I'm just putting, you know, needles here or here, it's not doing a lot to open the skin up. And the derma rollers will open your skin up temporarily so that whatever you put on your face can actually get in.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're not just wasting your money.
So is the derma roller something that the lay person that's not, you know, a licensed acupuncturist, can they do on themselves? And how do you prevent them from hurting themselves? Do you have it with you, by the way?
Yeah, hold on one second.
Okay. So so for everyone that's here, Michelle actually created, I believe so, right? You created this derma roller. So it's hundreds of little micro needles. Am I right, Michelle? You created this, no?
Yeah, well, I had them manufactured
Okay.
back before anyone ever heard of a derma roller. A friend of mine had gone to China and brought this
Back.
plastic and it had needles in it. And I said, wait a minute, what do you do with that? And she said, you roll it on your face. I said, give me that. And,
and people can actually do this on themselves.
I was on a mission. So yeah, it took me the better part of a year to find a manufacturer and start manufacturing them. So Aculift is mine.
Aculift, okay.
And I got them. So as far as safety, they come in a sterilized pouch.
Okay.
And they are approved for use by acupuncturists in the treatment room, but So if you're an acupuncturist, you can go on my website and buy them wholesale. And if you're not an acupuncturist, you can still buy them, but you can't get them on Amazon, and you can't get them at Target, and you can't get them at Bed Bath and Beyond.
Right.
They're, I can't speak to those products. I
Sure,
don't.
of course.
I've not bought one.
So how do you, I mean, what's, I don't know
So
if I would.
it's 540 little, tiny little needles, and they're shaped like pyramids. Some of the derma rollers that are out there, the needles are shaped like sewing needles. So you have this sharp point and then this barrel that you're pushing through your skin. But these needles are, they're shaped like little pyramids. So every edge of it cuts, but it's not painful. I mean, it doesn't feel like much of anything actually, but they're very sharp. So how do I prevent people from hurting themselves? Well, I put warnings on the box. I put instructions on the box.
So can you tell us
instructions in the box?
In the box, right?
And there's instructions on my website.
Okay. How would you tell someone to use that? Can they use it every day? Is it once a week? Every day?
Well, at first, I tell people at first to use it like every 3 days. Like use it, wait a couple days, because some people in the beginning, their skin will get red or it might flake a little bit.
Okay.
And that's normal, but it's just exfoliating all the dead caca that, you know, builds up on our face. And then,
and you obviously do this on clean skin, and you would
yeah,
not
yeah.
do this.
You wash your face, you just roll, and it's so easy.
Is it reusable, or do you sterilize it?
Yeah, you can use it. I mean, if you're just using it on yourself, it's not a whole lot different than a razor, right?
Uh-huh.
So, because you're not bleeding or anything.
Okay.
Again, forget about what you might see on social media.
Right.
Anyone can do anything.
Right, on social media. Yeah.
On social media.
Without a license.
Without a license.
Yeah.
So what I do with mine is I'll put a little, you know, soap on it, rinse it, and then it stores in a case. And then once a week I have sanitizing tablets somewhere, sanitizing tablets that I, you know, take a cup, stick it in. And that way, if there's any like little flakes of skin or, you know, because unlike a razor, you can use this for about 4 months. Whereas, you know, a razor, you're going to, but it's for one single person, you know.
Of course. Yeah. You don't want to cross-contaminate. Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
And then there's a body roller as well, which as I was getting ready, I'm like, oh, ugh.
So would you use like the body roller for like crepey skin or cellulite? Like, what do you do with that situation?
Well, again, it builds collagen, right? And it's going to open your skin up, so whatever you put on it can get in. All these expensive things that we buy, right? Those cellulite creams.
Yeah.
And so it's great for stretch marks. And acne scars.
Right. Have you used the Fascia Blaster at all, or have you done anything?
I have a Fascia Blaster.
Yeah, me too.
I love Ashley Blackborough. She's awesome. I haven't used it like, I think Fascia Blasts, or
she has a facial one. Yeah, she has a big one, a little one, a mini one, all that stuff. Yeah, it's so great.
Nothing like that's going on my face. I'm sure, but I do cupping. I think it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Right?
So grab your cup, because I have mine. This is the one that I have. I don't know.
Oh
no, no.
I couldn't even squint. Yeah, well, you got those physical therapist hands.
I do.
You don't believe me that I'm 60? Look at these old lady hands. There's no way these old lady hands could squeeze that thing.
My patients call me iron fingers. So yeah, I guess it's, but you know, like I'll do things like this, right? And I'll just kind of
don't do that.
No, okay, don't do that. It feels good. Wait, so can we just go back? Because Ashley just asked, what's the one for acne scars? Would she use a derma roller?
You can use either. The body roller has, so the body rollers, it's essentially the same thing. It just comes in longer needle lengths because the skin on our body is thicker than the skin on our face.
I think she's talking about acne scars on her face, right?
Oh,
Ashley?
yeah, you could use the face roller.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she
the
would
body
use...
roller is just like bigger.
Okay.
So I meant like acne scars, you know.
Oh, right. No.
Yeah.
So yeah, if it's on your face, and it obviously you want to not use it if you're having like a breakout or if the skin is red. Am I right?
Yeah. And all the precautions are on the box. If you have like active pustule acne or sunburn or anything like that. But my cups.
Yeah, show me your cups.
My cups are made for old ladies.
Show me your cups.
Yeah, so they come. So the box looks like, my favorite thing about the cupping set is the box. And it has a nice little magnet closure, and then the inside is all nice and squishy, and it's not that horrible hard plastic. It's like a giant, wonderful sponge, and it comes with 2 Gua Sha tools and 2 different size cups, and then there's instructions in the lid for the cupping, on the back for the Gua Sha, and then when you buy them, you get a half-an-hour instructional video, so you don't have to like wing it, and it comes with a little velvet bag to put that.
So Ashley, anyway, yes, you can get the cups and the Gua Sha through Michelle. She's going to give us all her information at the end of tonight.
It's all on the AccuLift in case we get disconnected. It's all on the AccuLift skincare website.
Or you can DM me if you can't find it. Can you just show us how can you show us how you use the cups on your face?
So you put a little facial oil. Of course, I have an AccuLift facial oil, and it has CBD and arnica and argan oil and a lot of really nice oils. And my face breaks out if I just think about putting something heavy on it. Like I said, I moved here to Florida. I was putting sunscreen and I was getting zits. I'm like, I am way too old for that. So when I was formulating it, I wanted to find something that
non-comedogenic,
my patients wouldn't break out from and, have allergies to. So anyway, now I can't see myself right now because I don't have my glasses on.
Okay, that's okay.
So just bear with me. When I do this at home, I have a magnifying mirror.
Sure.
So, and other than this concealer, which I feel like I look like a raccoon, but maybe it's just my imagination. Other than the concealer, the lipstick, and I didn't put makeup on like the rest of my face. Anyway, so what I'm just going to give you like a normal demo would take like a half an hour. So I'll just kind of give the once over. Okay. So I'll just work on one side of my face. I could probably do it in about maybe 5 minutes. So the first thing you want to do is right behind your ear, there's an acupuncture point, and you would stimulate that, and then you suction and release. Whenever you work on your neck, you only suction and release. You never drag a cup up or down your neck. You could throw a blood clot into your lung or your brain. So don't do that.
People on Instagram would never know that.
You see people doing all kinds of stuff. So don't do that. So it's just a quick, like little baby kisses down this muscle here, which is your SCM. And if you can't find it, just push and it'll pop out. So you just go down the SCM, and then let's see. Then you want to go under your clavicle, and you can just suction right here. There's a lymphatic drainage area right here. So it really just kind of opens the face up and like preps the face for working on the face. Then the next thing you're going to do, excuse me, this is being recorded, like bra straps flying.
That's fine.
Then you're going to work underneath to get rid of that all that gobble stuff, right? You work right underneath, and the same thing, you're going to come up.
And is that like a kissy kiss move
No,
too?
you can, now,
That's
you
a
can,
drag.
everywhere else you can drag.
Okay.
You just don't want to drag on
Over the
your
SCM,
neck.
yeah, the carotid.
So, but there's no carotids or jugular veins.
Yeah.
So you can just go right underneath, up under your ear, and then the same thing, suction and release, suction and release. And this gets all that lymph and fluid and congestion that goes on.
I have to say, this
here.
feels amazing, by the way.
We're gonna have to get you some decent cups.
Yeah, I know.
You make me laugh because I mean,
this is like I'm doing bicep curls with my cup.
Oh my God, I'm getting arthritis just looking at it. Anyway, then I use the smaller cup, and on the box I have little X's where all the acupuncture points are.
Yeah.
So that you know which points to stimulate. I'm not going to go through every single point, but there's a point here, you could stimulate that. There's a point right here at the edge of the mouth, you stimulate that. And then you just take a little, can you see me, a little section, and you go right up to your ear, right up there. And then if you want to plump your lips,
yes,
you can
please.
actually, seriously, you can. And if you, if you leave it there not too long, like a second, over time, it will bring that blood back into your lips, because as we get older and lose our estrogen, like, we were created to have these big plump lips so we could attract men. And then once our childbearing years are over, it's like,
we're done.
You don't need those things anymore. And everything just dries up and shrinks and falls down. But you can increase the circulation in your face, in your lips. But again, if you're going to do this at home, ladies, it's just like that. You don't leave them there. You're not trying to explode your lips.
Everyone wants duck lips now. I know, it's crazy.
It's just ridiculous. So again, you suction and release kind of around the lips. You can drag the cups up. Then you can gently, you can work around your eye area, just depending on your face, will determine what size. But you squeeze the cup first, and then you approach your face. This is not a glaucoma test. You don't want to puff, air into your eye. And you don't want to point the cup at your eyeball. It's got to go towards the bone.
Gotcha.
So very kind of gently down, away from your eyeball.
Right. And is this the cupping? This is the kissy motion again?
Yeah, just kind of very gently. Same thing. If you want to work, towards the top, you can, but it's got to be gentle. And then, of course, across your forehead and like this. And you can also lift and go up that way.
Give you a little lift there.
It takes, I don't know, I probably spent about 5 to 10 minutes doing cupping, and then I get out. Can we talk about Gua Sha?
I'm ready. I have mine.
Okay.
Hold on.
What's
the best way to clean this and store this, by the way?
The Gua Sha tools?
Yeah.
Well, it just depends on how kind of yucky they get. I mean, if you're just using it on yourself, some soap and water, but they can get kind of gunky, and that's where the sanitizing tablets are great, because you can use them on your cups, your Gua Sha tools, your derma rollers, whatever. You just and they're like, they bubble and So for the Gua Sha, again, this is another one of those things where I've seen a lot of videos, and I never, ever comment on what other people do. But inside, I'm dying, because they're, unlike acupuncture needles, there's no laws or rules about
Correct.
these, and
Well,
so
do you remember what I
everyone and their
told?
mother is
Right.
now an expert on Gua Sha,
Gua Sha.
which is an ancient
Yes.
Chinese technique of revitalizing not just our skin. I mean, Gua Sha's been used in Chinese medicine for centuries to help with all kinds of aches
Increase
and
circulation
pains
and decrease inflammation. You know, it's interesting because when I graduated from acupuncture school, obviously I was already a physical therapist, and I was kind of doing in-services in different physician offices, outpatient, orthopedic. And all of a sudden I bring, you know, what we were joking about this when we spoke, but, you know, I use a Solgar vitamin cap, right? I mean, that's what we used in school, just this little scrapey tool. And then, you know, 10 years later, some dude by the name of Graston decided to start selling stainless steel $1,000 appliances that now every of my PT colleagues uses to scrape the skin, and it's now accepted. So when I came out of acupuncture school 17 years ago, people thought I was crazy by scraping the skin. And I remember one of our teachers saying, you know, there was an Asian family that did this because it was part of their lineage. And one of the children that was in school wound up going to the child protection services because they assumed that the child was being you know, hit and abused, and it was because the child had some lung infection, and in Chinese medicine we'll scrape the back of the, you know, chest or the front of the chest to help get some of that gunk out. And it's just so crazy. So now all of a sudden this is, you know, everyone's using Gua Sha, or excuse me, Graston. So we use Gua Sha, and I will always call it Gua Sha because I'm a traditionalist. So show us how to use this.
well, when it comes to the face, I tell my students, you want to go for the Gua, but not the Sha.
Yes.
So the Sha is the redness, and you don't need to create redness.
Right.
So the tools that I use and I sell, and I've studied with several masters, and they all use Jade facial Gua Sha tools. A lot of, kind of like the Graston guy, a lot of these people that are doing Gua Sha on social media, it's like they have a piece of black plastic, and they're not health professionals, but they're young and cute. No offense to those of you who are young and cute, but they're young and cute. And so everyone's like, oh,
and
I
they're
want to
beauty
look like that.
influencers.
I'm gonna buy that. And what do you do with it? Well, the only problem. Hi, Wanda. Let's see. One of my students is on.
Hi.
I just turned all red. I love her. She's gorgeous. So anyway.
Okay, so back to the Gua Sha.
I got all distracted.
Yes.
So
Jade
Jade is very tonifying to the skin.
Okay.
And Jade.
And what does that mean for people that don't understand what tonifying
So
is?
it helps with microcirculation, and it's very building and nourishing to the skin. It actually, for those of you who are more science oriented, it creates a negative electrostatic charge when it touches the skin. And so that's part of how even if you don't do anything and you just took the Jade and put it on your skin, it actually does something.
What's the difference between using Jade versus Rose Quartz, let's say? Is there a difference?
I don't know a lot about Rose Quartz.
Okay.
I wasn't
Fair enough.
trained in it, but with cosmetic acupuncture,
it's Jade.
This is what I use, and it's actually very cool on the skin. So it's really wonderful for your menopausal ladies, right? So it's very simple, but if you don't do it right, you can injure yourself because you're taking a stone and you're rubbing it on bony surfaces. The biggest thing that I see that people do that is dangerous is they take the tool and they're working up and down the front of their neck.
Right, there was that thought again.
if you think about what's going on here, you've got carotid artery, jugular vein, trachea. Just don't. Okay. It's
You can also
one thing.
overstimulate the vagus nerve that way, right? And then
Well,
you're going to have a vasovagal response, which might not be a good thing either.
but if you want to work on the back of the neck, and I mean the back, that's fine. You can work down the back of your neck, but taking a tool and running it up and down the front of your neck, especially if you're not trained, is just so dangerous. So you can start out, I use 2 tools at once, but for the purposes of this, we'll just use one. So you can go along your clavicle, and this is great for your neck. It helps with the platysma, and it's also, again, you get to the edge and you can stimulate your lymph nodes, which is wonderful. Then you can come along the jaw. Well, you can work, I find it hard to work with just one, but underneath, I love these tools because they have different parts, right? They've got a kind of a curved, long, flat side, a curved, short side. They've got these little knobby things, which are great for stimulating, and then this notch. So when you're trying to sculpt those jowly jowls, you can do that. You can stimulate acupuncture points, work along your jaw line like this, stimulate around in front of your ears. You can actually work down your nose if your nose has large pores or if it tends to get red. Work right along your eyebrow. You can spread that wrinkle here, and you can really kind of get in there and just like, you might get a little red, but that'll go away. And just kind of finish up by going like this. If you have forehead lines this way, you can spread them, go like that. And then I like, when I'm treating my patients, I take the sides of the tools and I kind of, you can press pretty hard and just kind of get the whole temporalis, and they're going, oh God, oh God. We're also stressed these days, right?
It's
so
amazing.
These are like my secret weapons. I take
great.
these with me wherever I go, and I use them on myself a lot. They're a lot. They take a little longer to learn how to use than the Jade rollers, but I don't even use the Jade roller anymore. I just use these. I find them to be a lot more effective. The Jade rollers just kind of like, wah, wah, wah. It feels good, but I don't feel like it
really penetrates or gets in. Sure. Yeah, it's interesting because I found that with a lot of my patients that have headaches, and I do a lot of scalp work on them, it's almost like there's pockets of almost like bubble pockets of liquid, it feels like, right? So when I start to move some of that lymph through, like everything starts to drain. And, you know, I teach patients just even how to do their own self, you know, myofascial work in the scalp, even along the sutures that we had as babies, because there could be some fascial adhesions in there too, which have been extraordinary. And then I have a patient now who has unilateral tinnitus, so one-sided tinnitus. And because I'm a master of trigger point needling, the masseter can actually create tinnitus on one side. So it's fascinating to treat him and then feel in this area and get that to release. And it's like everything, your eustachian tube changes, everything releases. It's extraordinary. So all this stuff on the face and all the muscles, it's awesome. So
it is. And it's so important because if any of the muscles are tense, people think their faces look older because their muscles are like floppy, but that's not at all. We use our facial muscles so much. They're they become attenuated. And when they're short, right, then the skin, right, the muscle's real tense and short, and the skin will get all wrinkled. That's why when they use neurotoxins like Botox, it relaxes the muscle. So a lot of people are doing these, and that's another thing. People are doing these face exercises.
Yeah, what's
They're
that
just
all
making
about?
it worse.
They are making it worse.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, our faces get plenty of exercise. That's not the problem. Our, you know, these things are a whole nother story. But but our faces get plenty of exercise.
So can we just quickly, in your perspective, just very briefly touch on the Botox, the fillers, the lip injections? And, you know, obviously everyone in our society now wants the one shot fix, the one pill fix. If, you know, how do you say to someone it's going to take you twice a week for 3 months to see a change when they're like, oh, I'm just going to go get an injection of Botox and now I have botulism in my face to relax my wrinkles. So like, you know, what's your take on it for somebody that's a master at this and been doing this for so long?
Well, first of all, it would only be twice a week if they were either A, in a really big hurry, or B, if they had a tremendous amount of damage. Most of my patients just come once a week. I just wanted to clear that up. Yep. Well, there's you know, there's a lot to it. First of all, it's and plenty of my patients will get Botox, but they'll come to me for the rest of their face, right? Because you can get like filler in your cheeks and Botox in your forehead, but there's no filler or Botox that's going to take away all of this, or
the neck,
you know, get the nice jawline, other than plastic surgery. And even when you have plastic surgery, it's not going to get rid of your crow's feet, your lip lines. So, you know, what I tell people is this is treating all of you. I'm not just treating this. I'm treating everything. And so you'll feel better, your organs will function better, you'll be healthier, you'll be more relaxed. If you've never had acupuncture before, I mean, I came home just to pack up my house, and I only had a limited amount of time in Maryland, but number one on my list is I'm getting an acupuncture appointment, because it's like a reset switch. Yeah. Everything that was wrong in your life gets made right if it's a good treatment.
That's right.
So it's not just about this. And, you know, I talk a lot about this in my journal article. It's really about, if you feel good, you're going to look good. And if you look good, you're going to feel good. And it's you know,
psycho-emotional. And now, just because we got to jump off in 3 minutes, but I just wanted to ask you really quickly about some of the neurological issues that you're treating. So TMJ, trigeminal neuralgia, multiple sclerosis. Are you doing typical just acupuncture points? Are you working on trigger points? Are you needling motor points? What's your philosophy? What's your take on that? And if you can do that in 1 minute.
I use scalp acupuncture, facial cupping, facial gua sha, motor points, and something that is very unique to what I teach, which is submuscular and intramuscular needling. Okay. And so, yeah. Amazing. But a lot of scalp acupuncture also.
A lot of scalp, yeah. Okay. So you are now in Florida, no longer in Maryland. And can people find you in Florida? Can they come to see you in Florida yet?
Sure.
Okay. So
I'm in the process of moving into a more permanent, temporary, but I'm going to be treating some patients out of my on my lanai. And then as long as I know them or know of them, and then I will have an actual treatment space within a month or so.
Great.
And my
where
classes
in Florida are you?
all, I'm sorry?
Where in Florida are you?
I'm in Sarasota.
Okay, great. And where can they find you? How do they find you? What's your website? All the good
So
stuff.
for my classes, it's, if you're an acupuncturist, facialacupunctureclasses.com. I also have cupping and Gua Sha classes for massage therapists, estheticians. And then my practice is gellisacupuncture.com. And
I'll link them.
this is AcuLift Skincare.
Okay. I'm going to totally look into that micro needling AcuLift thing. I just dig it. I think it's super cool. All right. Well, you have been super helpful. Does anybody out there have any specific questions before we have to jump off? I just wanted to, not take up any more of your time. It's been an hour, and really, you're just so full of knowledge, and I so appreciate you being here. Any questions, anyone? No, we're good. All right. So, well, thank you so much, Michelle. Week 14. As I always end with, integrate your health, embrace wellness, and join the collective. Just want to say, for anyone that's going to jump on next week, it is, what do you feel about microneedling? There you go. What's your question?
Funny, you should ask.
Okay, go for it.
Well, I don't know if you were on when I was talking about derma rolling, but derma rolling is microneedling. It's a little different in that microneedling is a little deeper, and you might have some downtime from it, depending on your skin. And you really shouldn't be doing it to yourself, whereas a derma roller you can do to yourself. But as acupuncturists, I don't know the laws in every state. So in some states, we can do microneedling. And the reason I say funny you should ask, I just call my manufacturer that makes my derma rollers, and they're sending me a microneedling device. I had bought one years ago. I wasn't really impressed with it, but they have come a long way in the past 15 years. They now have these nano needles, and I already have, AcuLift has vitamin C, hyaluronic acid, and collagen serum, which I would use with the microneedling device. So stay tuned. If I'm going to use it on my chin, it's the one area on my face that gives me a lot of, we have a word in Yiddish, tsuris. It means like headache. So
Okay.
that's my problem spot. So I'm going to use it on my chin. I'll take some before and afters. And the
microneedling you're saying, or the derma roller? Right.
Oh no, I've been using the derma roller for forever.
You're saying about the microneedling. Gotcha.
Yeah.
And who does microneedling? Or would an esthetician do that, or do you need to go to a dermatologist?
We can do it.
Oh, we can. Well,
yeah.
Okay.
But you have to get trained and get a device. But in most states, it's within our scope of practice. But you do have to, of course, check with your acupuncture board.
Sure, of course.
So we'll see if I like what I see. I'm going to start teaching it.
All right, awesome. I mean, I'm just concerned if like some random person out there is like, I want to microneedle my face, and I'm gonna go get microneedled.
No,
Don't
baby.
do it. But
stick
like we said
to
earlier,
the Gua Sha and the cupping. Yeah,
that's right.
And the derma rolling.
Yes, that's right. Okay, well, Michelle, once again, thank you so much. Thanks all for coming out. I don't know if Rez Darling is Rez that I know Rez from Tri-State, but if you are, hi. So next week, week 15, I actually have on a woman she's extraordinary. She's the president and CEO, and she founded the American College of Health Care Sciences. And hi, Rez, it is. And she's so wonderful. I took a 2-year certification program in aromatherapy with her. Wow. And she has a distillation. She owns a piece of property in Syros, Greece. And that's where we ended our program. So she invited, 14 of us to come to her property. we learned how to do our own distillation process. We were on the side of a mountain picking helichrysum, and she's going to be on next week. I haven't seen her in years, and I'm super excited because I'm going to pick her brain about aromatherapy and all the wellness stuff. And thank you again, Michelle. Really,
thank you so
you're
much
so
for having
beautiful
me.
and you're so smart, and I'm so blessed to like know you now, and I can't wait to just send you emails and things and get together at some point if I ever get down to Florida.
Well, I'm going to be up in New York in August. So
Oh, good. We'll get together.
message. Yeah, yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. Okay.
All right, Michelle.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
everybody.
Thank you.